They're absolutely huge. All the letters tonight are absolutely huge. Cut it out, will ya? 100 words or less, that's what we want. First letter tonight, though, starts with a punch. Well, haven't Aussies become a bunch of arseholes? Selfish at that as well. Maybe. Let's see what the panel's got to say. Well, all my friends are getting married, but they're getting married in Phuket, and the cousins who live in Adelaide are complaining because they want to go to the wedding, and Gran lives in Adelaide, and it's very sad. They all want to go, but blah, 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 blah. And Live Earth concerts, weren't they wonderful? But the letter writer suggests that all the performers were very hypocritical because they go off and do what they like afterwards, and the parents are left to fend for these kids who want to live up to these non-existent expectations, etc. All this and more coming up on Sweet and Sour in about 10 seconds. Don't go away.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
And I know where we are. Welcome to Sweet and Sour, everybody. Gary Mitchell with you for the next half hour, and do we have a good panel for you tonight? I think so. First up, our ghost whisperer. Hello, Anthony Grizelka.
Hello, how are you, Mitch?
Well, I reckon I'm terrific. If I can get the mouth working tonight.
Every day above ground's a good one, mate. Remember
Oh, fancy that coming from you.
that. I know, tell me about it.
What about life on the other side? How's that for the other
Look,
blokes?
it's been good. It's been good, apparently. They're doing well on the other side.
Where do you spend your holidays?
Not on the other side, mate.
Not
let
at
me tell you.
Karrakatta?
No, I steer away from cemeteries if I can avoid it.
Do you actually sit there sometimes and all of a sudden when you don't want them, there they are chatting to you?
Sometimes I do, actually. Sometimes I get a bit of interference. If you
Oh.
The old antenna gets a bit cross-wide, but
What happens when you drive past a cemetery? Anything?
you know, cemeteries aren't a place where spirits dwell
Oh.
or hang out, believe it or not. I
Yeah,
mean,
everybody's trying to get out, I suppose.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? You think everybody would say, oh, because it's the last place they were, but they don't hang out there. It's, you know, they don't have any attachment to a cemetery. They're probably more likely to hang out in the house that they were last in or something like that.
Okay.
Or visit those areas, but certainly not cemeteries.
Any passed on Olympians?
No, we've got one here
No,
present.
no, no. Hello, Jen Riley.
Let's
How are
hope I
you?
don't pass on too soon. Thanks very
God,
much.
you will,
Travis.
if you keep up that swimming routine. You went in this morning. You've just completed and come in to be on the panel with us. How many
Yeah.
hours a day do you do?
We average about 4 or 5 hours a day, depending.
And what
Obviously
about
Sundays
swimming?
are off, so well, that's something I do on the side. So.
Okay, thank you for being with us tonight.
No worries.
You're one of our virgins.
One,
This evening.
yeah, only
Just one. You're not the other one. Hello, Susie Hunt.
No, my days of virginity are over, actually.
Oh, I've heard that about you. In various places. Actually,
Really?
you told me that. Yes. How many kids?
I have 4 children.
Mother of 4.
Yes.
And how busy are you during the holidays?
Well, I had last week where I worked, and this week we're hanging out together, the kids and I, so very great fun.
You're off this week.
Yes, I'm off this week.
Is it harder with the kids or harder at the World of
It's
Architecture?
actually harder when they're at school and working. So when they're at school and you're running around, and then working as well. When I'm not working and they're at home, it's fantastic.
She's well qualified. Give advice, folks. You just had it. Hello, Glenn Hall. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Gary. Nice to see you, mate. Nice to be here.
You're our other virgin tonight, mate.
That's correct. So it's good to, be rebirthed in the virginity states.
Terrific to have you.
I'm fresh from Hollywood, Subiaco Bowling Club. So, and all the boys at Hollywood Subiaco, they love you, Mitch. So they'll all be watching tonight. I'm
Give
sure.
them, give them my regards,
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
Glenn.
They've given me a few ideas on how to answer some of these letters. So,
Terrific.
bit of bowling club philosophy.
They're bowling club philosophy.
Yeah.
They're pretty big letters this week. Everybody's written volumes. We better get stuck into them. You ready?
All right.
Okay, here we go. Hello, Mitch and panellists. Well, haven't Aussies become a bunch of selfish arseholes? Between the last 2 national census figures, being 5 years apart, volunteering in community organisations, etc., has declined dramatically. In New South Wales, they recorded the most minor decline from 27% participation to 24%. Western Australia, which had the highest volunteer rate 5 years ago, experienced the most severe decline, going from 48% participation to 17%, and is now the lowest in comparison to the other states. That's atrocious. At the same time, newspaper reports suggest that Western Australia has been experiencing an unprecedented economic boom, and I write to you because I know that the show is filmed in Perth at the heart of all of this. Surely this must suggest to you, sitting there on that panel, that the pursuit of the dollar is nothing but selfish and doesn't always benefit the community. I grew up in the post-depression times, had very little and shared it with everyone around me, and I can tell you, now that I'm a fairly well-off, self-funded retiree, my richest experiences were had when my family had nothing and community involvement was everything. It's time for a national reassessment. We have become greedy and selfish, and it comes to us from Charles in Queensland, and we're going straight to you, Susie.
Well, Charles, look, I actually agree with you, but I would like to say first up, we're all volunteers here, as one of the crew has just highlighted, well, except for Gary, of course, so he's not actually very caring. But we're all volunteers, and so we're giving you this fantastic advice as volunteers. But I have to say, Charles, I actually totally agree with you. I think that we have become quite selfish and quite time poor, but I would say that I think that it's very difficult if you do want to be a volunteer. How do you do it? Where do you go to? And so maybe the volunteer associations need to get out there and give some advice. We're used to getting everything handed to us on a platter. Maybe they need to hand it to us, and we can encourage, you know, our children and people in the community that have the time.
It's the organisation's fault.
No, it's not the organisation's fault.
Access is a problem.
It is a problem in the sense that I'd like my kids to be able to do some volunteer work, I don't know, as they get older, but where do you start?
48% in Western Australia, down to 17%. Is that real, Anthony?
Susie, you poor misguided individual. That's all I can say.
It started.
There's actually a very good reason why this has happened when you look at it. There was a term that I heard from a New South Welshman not long ago, and he said, all the Mexicans are coming over the border. And they refer to Victorians that come over the border and work in New South Wales. Well, the population has risen so much in WA with all the Mexicans coming from the other states that, of course, our percentage of volunteers is going down because we've got so many people from other states. The other thing I'd like to say, though, is...
Does that mean they're all selfish and they don't volunteer?
Well,
so as our population goes up, because they don't volunteer...
Well, they're so busy taking jobs and things that we're prefer. And you know something?
But the
this state,
sales of tequila have gone up.
you know,
So
something
that's
else.
important.
I've got to take, Charles, I've got to take umbrage with you, my friend, because you almost point the finger at Western Australia and say, well, you know, you're the bad boys in this picture. But do you know what? The economic boom in this country and the tax that we pay in this state helps fund the rest of the nation. So to say that we're being selfish, no, don't agree with it.
See,
at all.
Charles, we're paying for it.
Paying for you guys.
No, but the point is, anyway, people come over here, they're earning so much money, they should be actually participating in the community.
Well,
Or they could pay someone to do it.
We don't volunteer tax.
Maybe everyone's out trying to find a house to live in.
Oh.
With no time to
Hang
do their
on,
volunteer work.
Jen's got a point there because
see?
the price of houses in WA has gone through the roof, so maybe everybody needs 2 and 3 jobs.
Everyone's too busy reading the paper looking for a home open, trying to find one to go
Have you got a
on.
house?
No, I'm still at home.
Oh, smart move. What do you say to Charles?
Well, I'm just looking at the end of this letter here. He's a fairly well-off, self-funded retiree, and his richest experiences were had when his family had nothing. So maybe he should take all his money and donate it, and then have a good
That'll
experience.
fix you up, Charles. All right, come on, Glenn.
Oh, well, look, my philosophy is in countries they have military service, right, where when you turn 18, you do 2 years. What about community service? So as soon as you turn 18 or 17, 2 years of community service.
Compulsory.
Oh, we've got
Yeah.
a red amongst us.
I agree with that.
We've got a red amongst
2
us.
years, I reckon, just put them straight in there, get them into the
That's
old
communism.
people's homes,
No, I think it's a good idea.
you know, get them down to the bowling clubs. There's a lot of stuff that
Gosh,
needs to
have
be
you
done.
seen some of the people that walk our streets? You'd put them in
I'll
old
tell you
people's
what.
homes? They'd be dead before you know it, the
Oh,
old people.
come on. You've got no faith in the youth of today, Gary.
They've got to
your
get these
problem.
quite
kids up
right.
for a start.
Do you know that in America, to actually finish your, what we call year 12 equivalent, you have to have done at least 12 months of community service in the last 2 years
And
of
most
school.
of them
Is
do
that right?
because they've
You
been
have to.
arrested. But that's beside the point. I'm saying you don't have to get arrested to do community service.
No, but they do actually have to do as part of their education. It's,
So
the only,
certain.
it's something
We
that
don't
we
mind
can
that.
import.
And that's really helped in America.
No, I
look
don't.
at the place. It's great.
It's one thing we can import that's positive.
True.
Where did you get married?
I got married here in Perth, but my partner and I had been living in London for 4 years, so we had he knew no one here in Perth when we got married, but we
Okay.
came home.
When we come back, we're going to be talking about leaving your home city and leaving your friends and relations and getting married elsewhere and saving everybody the drama. When we come back, don't go away.